The yeas are 51, the nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed. Under the previous order, the motion to reconsider is considered made and laid upon the table, and the President will be immediately notified of the Senate's actions.
Kash Patel has demonstrated a dangerous lack of judgment, lack of preparation, and lack of independence. He's shown that he's either unwilling or unable of putting politics aside in order to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution, should he be confirmed to lead the FBI. And throughout his career, he's shown a clear pattern of loyalty to Trump and of self-dealings at the expense of the American people. That includes undermining the FBI's work in order to protect Trump from investigation, profiting off of conspiracies about a, quote, deep state, and promoting an enemies list targeting public servants.
Mr. President, Kash Patel has spent his career working in criminal law and national security. He spent his first 8 years after law school as a public defender in state and federal courts in Florida. In 2014, he was brought on as a terrorism prosecutor at the U.S. Department of Justice, prosecuting terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda and Al-Shabaab. From there, he went to work in national security for the House Intelligence Committee and then in the first Trump administration. Mr. President, as I said, the FBI has lost trust among the American people in recent years. Much of that stems from a perception that politics has infected the FBI's important work. And it's not hard to see why.
The US Senate has voted to advance Kash Patel for a full Senate confirmation vote, so he's on his way to being confirmed as the head of the FBI. And he's been critical of the FBI in the past and the deep state, as he calls it. When he is confirmed, are we going to see pretty radical change?
Well, look, I mean, so far with his other appointments, we have seen fairly radical change, whether it's the situation in Europe or the cost cuts of of the so-called DOGE. So we may well, but it's fair to say that the deep state or the FBI or whatever you want to call that class of bureaucrats really dislike Kash Patel because he exposed back in 2017 that the FBI was spying on Donald Trump's campaign and various other aspects. And of course that led to Russiagate and so forth, which was which ended up being a hoax really. So he's deeply loathed and he's determined to reform that institute. And look, I think it does need a reform. I mean, there's been many cases in the US of when it has been sniping and eavesdropping on Americans, when its focus really should be more external. That's for the CIA as well.
Plenty of Americans and people around the world are very interested in the Jeffrey Epstein client list as well as the Diddy party attendee list. We know Kash Patel has spoken about this before, and Donald Trump says that he's going to make certain files public. I think there's a lot of interest in these cases, and I suppose we're going to get a bit more transparency with Kash Patel in.
Yeah, look, certainly that's true. I mean, the full list of the clients has not been released yet. I mean, we know some of the people that were close to Jeffrey Epstein and used the services and visited the island. I think Bill Gates was one of those people. That was very embarrassing for him. Look, it just remains to be seen. I think Senator Marsha Blackburn, a senator from the South, Republican senator, she is also pushing to have the list released. So, you know, the more transparency, the better, I say. So, so let's wait and see what we get there.